So it's no secret that the entire world is talking about Switch 2 right now. I mean, I've seen literally every content creator, big and small, start to just jump on the Switch 2 wave because it's literally, one, nothing else to talk about, and two, the only thing people seem to really care about. And right now, still, Switch 2 is trending for gaming on Twitter and still at the top of everybody's hopes and wishes. Everyone's still waiting for Switch 2 news, and as we continue to wait, we continue to get more rumors and speculation about what's to come. Now, something that I was actually really predicting is I care more about the games than the actual console. I can't wait to see the next era of Mario games, Zelda games, all that jazz. And of course, I made a big video talking about which game would Nintendo want to go with for a launch title. A new 3D Mario game or a new Mario Kart game. And I made a whole video talking about this and discussing which one is best. Well, apparently there's some rumors out there suggesting that it's going to be neither. And whoo boy, does that warrant a discussion. But once again, real quick, I have to give another thank you because you guys have been so amazing towards this channel. I mean, seriously, once again, through a time where there's not a lot going on, you guys still show so much support. The other day reaching almost 300 new subscribers, and yesterday literally doing the exact same thing, getting around 282 brand new subscriptions. You guys love Switch 2 news. I'm going to continue talking about it. I know some of you guys hate it, I know some of you guys are tired of it, but you know what? A lot of you understand there's not a lot going on right now, and a lot of you guys are showing so much support. So I love each and every one of you, even the new and the old. Let's just keep it going, I guess. Let's see if we can get the same amount of subscribers or even more with today's video. But thank you so much for tuning in, and let's dive in. There is a rumor out there that I covered around 3 or 4 months ago, and unfortunately I don't have any information on it right now, but it was so long ago. I remember hearing a rumor from some source stating that Mario would not be a launch title, or at least not the 3D Mario game, and that we'd have to wait a little while after the release of the console, which is something that I think a lot of us thought was a possibility, that if 3D Mario wasn't there at launch, then it's okay, Mario Kart would be there to back it up, or vice versa. If Mario Kart wasn't there at launch, 3D Mario would be there to back it up. So we were kind of fine in that space, saying either way we're going to get a massive Mario game at launch. Well, recently I've been seeing and hearing rumblings about Switch 2's actual launch title, and that it may not be what we're expecting. And just recently we get an update from Samus Hunter. Now this is a Nintendo leak and news insider. She has been pretty spotty in the past, but this year specifically has been pretty spot on with everything that she's talked about. But she comes to Twitter to state, connect, chat, 3D Mario, Mario Kart, and Shigeru Miyamoto crossing his arms into an X saying no, which, if you don't know what she's referring to, she's stating that these are things that are not happening. A lot of people are trying to guess what the C button on that leaked Nintendo Switch model looks like, and a lot of people saying it could be to connect it to the TV like a remote, like the Wii U gamepad did, or maybe a chat function where you can communicate with people, or maybe open up a party chat or something. And apparently neither of these are correct. And now I'm going to touch on this one specifically first, and I think it's actually for a camera. I've been hearing rumors about AI and IR pointers or something on both Joy-Con, and that there could be some type of slot at the top of the console. That's why there's a USB-C port on the top this time, for you to connect some type of device to use it as a camera or something. So who knows? It sounds like something cheesy and corny Nintendo would do. I don't care about a camera, but I'm guessing camera. That one hasn't been denied yet, but that's what I'm saying. But it's the second half of the tweet that scares me. It says 3D Mario and Mario Kart. Pretty much her saying they are not going to be launch titles, and she actually elaborates on this a bit further with a follow-up tweet. Then follows up with a tweet saying, reminder, it is more important to have a consistently updated lineup each month than to have all the best games available at day one, and then have months with few new releases. Don't worry about those 2 games. And I'm going to be honest with you, I couldn't possibly disagree more with this. I don't think anyone in the world, in the galaxy, in the solar system, on Mars, on the moon, expected 3D Mario and Mario Kart to both be launch titles day one. No one expected that, right? I hope so. I'm just making sure I clear that out the way first, because that's just unprecedented, and that is doing way too much for just the first day of the launch of Switch 2. You want to span these 2 games out no matter what. But the problem here is that you have to have one of these games be a launch title, because we are sitting in a situation where you start to question what else is going to be the launch title. This is a big brand new Switch. You have to have a big, huge first-party game to launch with the console. We know Zelda's not happening. We just got Tears of the Kingdom not even 2 years ago. And obviously, it's perfectly lined up for it to be a Mario game. It's been 7 years plus since Super Mario Odyssey for a new 3D Mario game, and over a decade since Mario Kart 8 Deluxe came out on the Wii U. So genuinely, what else in the world could it be? Because why in the world is it not one of those two games? This is one of the few times I actively hope and pray that a leaker is wrong. I hope that Samus Hunter is not correct about this and just some of her sources is just messing up with this, because there's just no way. I can't even think of this being a possibility. With how long we've been waiting for Switch 2, and apparently with all the internal delays, and I don't think that's like a quote-unquote thing anymore that we can just say, we don't know there's internal delays, Nintendo never announced a thing. With all these accessory manufacturers leaking Switch 2, I think it's safe to say that Switch 2 was supposed to be announced and probably even released and revealed a lot sooner than now, like way sooner. Remember, we were having rumors back that stuff was going to start happening in March of this year and release of the console would be this holiday, and that obviously didn't happen, and a lot of people were saying there was some internal delays and that was the whole reasoning behind everything. And a lot of people were claiming that the delays were because of the software. Nintendo wanted to make sure that they had a banger first year lineup for Switch 2, which is very important. I will say, it is one of the most important parts about releasing a brand new console. Some people out there still believe that Nintendo would be fine with the Switch 2 without a big launch title, and I absolutely think that that is bogus. There's no possible way. Maybe with the original Nintendo Switch because it is a completely new piece of hardware, but if the Switch 2 really is what we've been seeing with the leaks and what we've been hearing with the leaks, it is really just a bigger, better Switch. It still looks primarily like a Nintendo Switch. There's going to be some slight differences and stuff when it comes to actually what the console looks like. So Nintendo's going to need to sell this thing. Why in the world does someone need to go out and pay $400 or maybe even $500, hopefully that's not the case, for a brand new Nintendo Switch if there's no games to play on it? There's really nothing to really do on that console besides play older games and maybe they look a little bit better. Nintendo needs to have a huge first-party game, and what would be bigger than a first-party Mario game, whether it be a 3D Mario or Mario Kart? No, Nintendo absolutely needs to have one of these games as a launch title, because if they don't, I don't know how well this thing is going to sell. Now, the only reason I'm even talking about this, because unfortunately, I think there's some reason to this, and this is something that I've mentioned before that was a pretty big fear of mine. I said, if Nintendo doesn't reveal Switch 2 this year, that's actually kind of, scary, because it's telling me that maybe there aren't any big games still coming soon. Like I said before, Nintendo's not just going to come out and reveal a Mario Kart game or a 3D Mario game, and then say, oh yeah, it's coming out in 2 months with the Switch 2. That's not going to happen. They might be able to get away with a short reveal to release with the hardware like they did with their original Switch, but software side of things, that stuff gets announced almost years in advance for a lot of games, a lot of big games. Look at Breath of the Wild. Oh my gosh, it was revealed like 3-4 years before the game even came out, so we knew about it for a while. We even had a huge Nintendo Direct. The entire E3 presentation and show floor was dedicated to Breath of the Wild before it actually released. So if Nintendo really is working on the next huge 3D Mario game, and if it's like an open world game or the next huge Mario Kart game, wouldn't you think they want to get that thing revealed a lot sooner in advance before that game came out? And that's what's been scaring me so much, is because we still have not heard about any games coming soon, and these rumors are suggesting that the Switch 2 is still launching towards the end of spring, early summer, so Nintendo needs time to advertise this new Mario game, and that's why I kind of think that this could be a possibility, which greatly scares me. So if it's not Zelda, it's not 3D Mario, and it's not Mario Kart, what in the world does Nintendo have for day one on Switch 2? Well, there's a chance they have nothing. Yeah, I know, it's scary, but what if they don't really have anything? What if it's just like, hey, here's some more remakes, remasters, and some games that you can replay again on Switch 2 because it's going to look a lot better. You're going to have to wait a couple months for the big games. I think this would be detrimental. I think this would be a very, very bad thing, and I do not think that's going to happen at all. The only other choice I can think of is Pokemon Legends, and then maybe Metroid Prime 4. But I'm sorry, Metroid Prime 4 is not a console seller. It's not. It's still a relatively niche franchise. I think it will be great for Metroid, but terrible for Switch 2. So it is kind of unfortunate. I think Metroid would be a great day one title, but I feel like it gotta be accompanied with something else. Like having Metroid Prime 4 and Mario Kart both day one would be super exciting. Then waiting until the holiday or a little while longer to get 3D Mario would be great, or once again just switch them. Maybe having 3D Mario and Prime 4 day one and then having to wait a little longer for Mario Kart. But I do think it would be pretty cool to have this big single player game with Metroid Prime 4 and also a family multiplayer game with Mario Kart. So I think that would make the most sense, and then have us wait for 3D Mario. Can Metroid Prime 4 carry the launch of a new console on its own? I don't think so, especially considering the fact that Nintendo hasn't even released Prime 2 and 3 as HD remakes or remasters at all. Nothing. You know, and I feel like it's really strange just to have Prime 1 and then just jump to Prime 4. I feel like there's still got to be time to have those other games, so this still doesn't even make sense to me. So I'm trying to see a universe, a situation where this happens, and I just can't see it. I don't see how this can happen. I think this would just be really bad for Switch 2 and a bad start out the gate, unless Nintendo knows that they might not have enough Switch 2s for everybody and that they want to give people time, you know, that way they don't have this huge new Mario Kart or 3D Mario day one and they want to give people time to get more Switches. But I feel like time is against Nintendo now. You've had so much time. You've had so much time to get this Switch 2 out. It's been longer than pretty much any other generation of console ever. Nintendo's been taking way too long. I mean, at this point, there should be a lot of stock for Switch 2. So that shouldn't be a reason to not have a big launch game. So I really don't understand why they wouldn't. And yes, I think a big reason as to why the Wii U failed when it did is because it didn't have anything really exciting at launch. You had another new Super Mario Bros. Game, which was like the third game in that series by now, and it looked exactly the same as New Super Mario Bros. Wii, but this time in HD, and you had things like Zombie U. Yeah, no, Nintendo can't afford to make this mistake again. And like I said, this wait would feel like it was for nothing. I mean, at this point, it would also make people start to wonder, why didn't the Switch 2 come out a lot sooner then? If Metroid Prime 4 is all we had, what was the point of the wait? Was it just waiting for Metroid Prime 4 to finish? Is there something internally going on where these games are still taking way too long? I mean, are we at the point where we're going to have to wait 8, 9, even 10 years for a new 3D Mario and Mario Kart every single time? There's a lot of questions, but of course, let's not get too angry, let's not get too flustered, because nothing has been spoken by Nintendo yet. Of course, these are all rumors, so take them all with a grain of salt, but man, does it scare me a little bit, I can't lie, because I don't even want to imagine a launch of a brand new Switch without a 3D Mario or Mario Kart, especially after how long that gap has been since the last games in those respective franchises. Before anyone else tries to say maybe there's a game that we're not thinking about that's also going to get announced soon that could be a launch title, I really don't know what else it could be. I think Luigi's Mansion is maybe the only other possible thing. I mean, I guess it's almost time for Luigi's Mansion and Mario Maker again, so one of those could be pretty huge, I will say, especially Luigi's Mansion now. Luigi's Mansion 3 sold so well, and I think it's developing itself into an amazingly big franchise, so I'm sure the next game is going to be very ambitious, so I'm looking forward to that. But I don't know. What do you guys think down below? Do you think that these rumors are true? Do you think we're actually going to get a launch of Switch 2 without a new 3D Mario or Mario Kart? Definitely let me know what you think down below. Make sure you leave a like and subscribe before you head out. And like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See you guys.